Section 76, Songs of Love and Life by Zora Cross. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Read by Caveat. Holiday Humour. Life grows too circumspect. Let's play prevail. Put back the clock of time to half-past age, and fly with youth from old convention's cage, to swing with nonsense where her toy boats sail. Oh, drop the cloak of thought, and, in a gale of gladness, whirl me over reason's stage, past sense and logic's pallid heritage, to dance, fun-frolicked, through a daisy dale. Dear love, my hands are laughter linked in thine. The moonlight marries us to maddest mirth, and Folly's weaving us her youngest hour, to bind our spirits in a mesh divine. A wreath of play, a kiss, a bed of earth, and love and life are simple as a flower. End of section 76. Section 77, Songs of Love and Life by Zora Cross. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. Read by Caveat. To a favourite poet. I have been reading verses that you wrote in mornings long ago. Their fragrant thoughts and petalled fancies float, like music sweet and slow. I see your fairies and your white nymphs play beneath the olive trees, your southern Venus thridding through the bay with white and naked knees. Smooth satin speeches from the stanzas speak intoxicating me. Some lyric running in a pebbled creek mixes a melody. And there are maidens murmuring along, with moonlight in their hair. Loose laughter dimples with our own white song, and sunny chords of air. And often coupled with the clash of steel, I hear a rumbling drum, as drawn sonorous through the mighty peal, long thoughts of thunder hum. I have been reading verses that you wrote, and all the pages through, in scented simile and singing note, I find the soul of you. End of section 77.
Section 78, from Songs of Love and Life by Zora Cross. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Read by Elise D. In a Garden. In this old garden where I walk, laughter and tears I find. Pursue me, and in silence talk sweet memories in my mind. Here are red roses dropping blood, I see Adonis fly, and I hear from every crimson bud warm Cytherea sigh. And there are lilies lost in thought, whose leaves divinely grieve, as in each chalice closely caught I mark the tears of Eve. I move along from flower to flower, and pluck them wonderingly, when sunset chimes the golden hour of twilight's reverie. I twine the lily and the rose with sprays of milky May, and violets whose odor flows fresh from the Appian way. A sigh breaks from the ruby rose, I hear a step all light ring rapture where the evening glows upon the heart of night. It nears, and from the garden spring delicious dreams and true. I stand in Eden marveling, yet knowing it is you. I pause, I wait. The minutes die and drop out one by one. Your step, film-footed, falters by, as it has ever done. Blind-eyed with tears, the shadows crowd upon my helpless head. I make the flowers my bridal shroud. Joy lives, and yet is dead. The mirthful stars spin bliss above. I weep in agony, weaving the pall of hopeless love here in Gethsemane. End of section 78. Section 79, from Songs of Love and Life by Zora Cross. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Read by Elise D. Girl Gladness. It's holiday time on the Hollyhock Hills, and I wish you would come with me, laddie love, now. The butterfly bells from the Folly Fool rills will ring if you listen and drop on your brow. So, dear, come along. I've a kiss and a song, and I know where the fairies are forging a gong to ring up the elves to a festival fair of snippets of sunshine and apples of air. Oh, laddie, my laddie, quick, run out of school, and away with a shout and a shake of the head. I'll pick you a pearl from the pigeon-pink pool, where cuddles and kisses are going to bed. Away, come away to the land of the Fae, for the afternoon tinkles your lassie love's lay. Play truant with time, and while age is asleep, I'll give you the heart of my girlhood to keep. End of section 79. Section 80 from Songs of Love and Life by Zora Cross. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Read by Elise D. If I Were a Poet. If I were a poet and you were a prince, and nothing much mattered but song, oh, wouldn't we make the old moralists mince and hustle the prelates along? But you are the poet, and I'm but a maid. Your fancy flings laughter and rhyme. And how shall our bills and our lodging be paid when love is the prince all the time? End of section 80.
Section 81, Songs of Love and Life by Zora Cross. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Read by Caveat. Grief. Night in her caravan as black as death came to my chamber saying, "Follow me," shut off the clamour of my startled breath, led me, red-eyed, into eternity. O grief, I died upon thy stinging lips, feeling the tempest of my soul arise, fronting the heavens as a ship that dips, cabled and cargoed with a freight of sighs. God sat there spinning in a silent place, watching me walk the bitter past again, wrinkled the blossom of my fair young face, bruised were my eyes with many stings of pain. O woman that I made so very fair, the passion of his voice chained me to earth. Why hast thou crouched so constantly with care, battered thy body for a meed of mirth? Answered I naught, O God, my very God, how I have sinned. My body is a pool, white as sweet wine, where multitudes have trod, sipping the cup and calling me poor fool. And in the morning of a splendid day, love came unnoticed through the moving throng, mouthed like a rose with eyes of holy grey, chanting the burden of an old sweet song. God, O my God, I heard him knock in vain. How could I listen to a strain so dear? Grief drowns my longings in a moaning rain, leaves me alone with darkness and my fear. End of section 81. Section 82, Songs of Love and Life by Zora Cross. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Read by Caveat. Thou shalt not. Woman, pausing on the marble stair, come down one, come down two. Death is creaking through the doors of air, and a red, red knife for you. Woman, lying on the gleaming floor, warm the blade, cold your skin. Love's a madman when he loves no more, and a heart is hot with sin. End of section 82.
Section 83 from Songs of Love and Life by Zora Cross. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Read by Elise D. The Open Air. Sing, sing, sweet air, your mighty music spill upon the songless ground that circles me around, and roaring, pouring, with tumultuous thrill, hurl harmonies from heaven's deep till cataracts of rhythm sweep, and madly, gladly lift my spirit up, o'er snowy mountain height, or slumberous clouds of night, to drink immortal draughts of nature's cup. Sing, sing, and in a magic ring whirl moon and star, or leap and fling the yellow sunlights on the leaf, and laughter at the feet of grief. Fill up the lily leaves with mirth, the larkspur light to happy birth, and sweetly, fleetly, round the rosy sun, trill of your lilting life that's ne'er done. O veil of God, O clear felicity, your crystal dews of joy my silent senses cloy. Your gleaming, streaming lights of liberty dissolve their beings into mine. and clinging mists that round you twine, flood, lipping, dipping me in deeps of truth. With myriad-minded trees, from bowls of beryl breeze, I sip the soul of everlasting youth. O innocence of ample air, ambrosially moist and fair, translucent flow your springs of light through dancing day and nodding night, and palely pure your starlight streams, delicious meads of musing dreams that lightly, whitely ripple land and sea with balm of beauty and cool chastity. Ocean of life, wine of eternity, you bubble to the brink of every hope I drink, and leaping, sweeping in an ecstasy, billow with bliss the ant and midge, the midnight moon and rainbow ridge, and glowing, flowing in an endless flight, gather the spacious sun, the stars and tides in one, while death herself dies, drunk with your delight. Sing, sing, sweet air, your breath remains in vapor, cloud, or opal rains, and, drowned in you, my love and I, beneath the blossom of the sky, float on like souls to paradise, meeting in yours the Maker's eyes, that purely, surely, through your stainless sea, harbor the gleam of immortality. End of section 83.
Section 84. Songs of Love and Life by Zora Cross. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Read by Caveat. The Birthday of the Dead. Where'er I turn tonight, I see a child with brown and ribboned hair, smiling soft-eyed at me as once I smiled, as fair as I was fair. Her little hands are plaiting flowers and ferns, her tiny feet are crossed. Sometimes she sings, and through her carol burns the youth that I have lost. I know her grave is green upon the hill, she died in infancy, and yet how pensive and how very still she sits and smiles at me. I'll say this time next year she'd have been 9, had earth not been her bed. Her little years increase and bloom with mine. Ah, how can she be dead? End of section 84. Section 85. Songs of Love and Life by Zora Cross. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Read by Caveat. Only Sir Galahad. What time the embers of heroic men flamed to the pallid peaks of paradise, I, waiting at En-Mishpat, saw again the grail of God's most holy sacrifice. Through blazing arrows of the dim red morn, faint with the fragrance of the lips of Christ, it floated forward like a star new born, and lo, I followed, for the scent sufficed. O'er dumb-tongued battlefields it upward sailed, pulsed with the passion of a maiden vow, and gleamed where poppies airily unveiled, bloomed in the skulls of souls forgotten now, bloomed in the valley where the Anzacs sleep, 'neath scented coppices of deep content, in khaki shrouds which holy angels keep, sacred for drapings of Jehovah's tent. And in the even measure of the dust I felt the ticking of a hero heart, deathless, immortal in the grave of rust, under the crosses in the sands apart. These are your monuments, beloved dead, these but the vassal vaults of liberty. Let not your kinsmen move your narrow bed, let not some stranger stir their sanctity. Mounting the amber of the higher air, now like an acolyte it drifted by, onwards o'er Tuscany through meadows fair, forth to Louvain I heard a woman cry. Through Flanders filmily it led me on, where hope hid cowed in every tangled lane. Art Leia raped, her chastity was gone, slain in the futile carnages of pain. And, as in centuries of long ago, Rollo the Red scoured down with Viking shouts, leaving the cities in a smoke of woe, reeking with relics of his red-eyed routs. So in the avenues with blood imbrued, stained with its vengeances, the Teuton sword swung in remembrance and in wrath pursued shades of the slaughtered children of the Lord. Late on the hill heart all immortal day gathered her lilies with a smile sublime, breathed through her dimpled lips her soul away, fainted the flying feet of eventide. Light as a falconet the evening star slipped through the fingers of the dewy night, floating in the joyance down the clouds afar, tipping the chalice with an incense white. But none save mothers with their babes abreast, pouring devotion through their sleepless eyes, flecked with the reflection of the radiant west, saw the bright grail an instant in the skies. None but some soldier dying in his woe, facing the blinding battlements of death, softened and smiling pity for his foe, felt the pure glory of the Saviour's breath. Then on to Calvary it soared and stayed. There too I waited while the world roared red, bloodied with battle and with pain decayed, heaped to the summit with its piles of dead. Friends, drink, I cried, the cup of your relief. They heeded not, but shattered hill and vale, till Christ bent down and whispered through his grief, still none but thee has found my holy grail. End of section 85.
Section 86 from Songs of Love and Life by Zora Cross. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Read by Elise D. The Triumph of Eve. At daybreak, holding heaven in my hands, I pace above the pleats of ivory sands, and, standing where the sky and mountain mist kiss in cool curves of blue and amethyst, I see the tide break at my breathing feet, and winds leap laughter as they backward beat. One speck of matter on the heaving heights, I, mingling with the measureless young lights, woman, world breeder, called by man the fair, drink deep the holy nectar of the air. I drink and drink till through all my veins I feel electric currents of pure ether steal. My throat throbs fire, my small breasts, round and white, breathe milky mysteries of new delight, and sudden in my womb the life of man tugs like a cloud before the tempest's van. O thou Creator, who in aeons past pulsed from thy power the love that leads at last, how do I feel, though mean I am and small, some of the joy with which thy thought let fall? Courage for clay through semitones of sound, welling some part of thee through all the ground. Yesterday, Lord, many years it seems, I was a blossom maid, a thing of dreams, who decked my body for my love's fond feast, and laughed to please him as his joy increased. His was I yesterday, his all alone. Now I am his, and thine, and yet my own, doing thy task, filled with the force of him, and heaped with heaven to my body's brim. How may I check my thoughts that rise to thee? I, woman, guardian of thy Trinity. Praise be to thee from whom all mercies flow, oozing o'er me the cool creative glow, till eyes and hands, loose lips and fragrant hair gather the luster that thy chosen share. Dust are my loins and dust my muffled womb, fettered with phantoms of the ghastly tomb. Clay are my limbs, from clay thou madest them all, warm clay to colder clay at last to fall. Dust is my shell, but that which leaps within cuts off the passage of the wave of sin, living and breathing as I live and breathe, growing and loving as I love and wreathe garlands and fabrics for its dainty head. In this my child I never can be dead, in this my child, unborn within me yet, never canst thou be absent or forget, never wilt thou who breedest thy worlds through me alter the motion of eternity. I watch the dawn in travail for the day that, turquoise tinctured, lies along the bay, and, stretching up my hands to thy wide skies, I feel creation out of chaos rise. As on the dawn of that tumultuous morn, when leaf and flower and crystal brook and thorn leapt at thy thought, till all the vapors whirled, roses and asphodel and lightly furled filigreed fern that hid the embryon wing of warmer life that yet should soar and sing. I pause and mark thy pregnant creatures walk, the grassy cloisters where the young birds talk, and each, like me, is filled with miracle, holding the life germ in a single cell. I watch them creeping, crawling, flitting by, insect and busy worm and gauze-winged fly, until my blood leaps laughing to a pain, to feel my love, my being cloy again. O wedded bliss, he kissed me on the mouth, his meeting breasts warm, warmer than the south, leaned on my own, and, while we clung and kissed, flowed over us a stinging dew-like mist. His skin was scented and white as milk, his hair half humid like a cloud of silk, mixed with my own and sensuous with power. His breath was all about me like a flower. My arms were round him, and his hands held me close, close. We pressed in bosomed ecstasy, till fainting, melting with the joy we lay, I he I, and thou, O Lord, that day, so near us both, I knew that thou wast there, weaving thy wonders through our bodies fair. Lord, Lord, thou wast, O God, upon the day when I conceived, I had a vision gray. White worlds were torn by rude corruption's claw, and war crammed horror down its bloody maw. The stars were out, the moon had turned to blood, and all the rivers of revenge ran flood. I stood upon this hill, while heathen hordes rushed up, red-fanged with long and slimy swords. Death led them on, and, as they swept to me, destruction ripped the throat of liberty. But through the hosts methought I saw full strong my own dear love press headlong in the throng, striving to reach me, though the conflict he fell, closed firm about him with the hooks of hell. Pulsed to the soul with some impassioned power, I felt strange glory in that wondrous hour. My will forsoared, I faced them from the height, though dark it was and hideous in night. They came, they quailed, they shrivelled at my strength, and as the ranks wheeled on in awful length, that sword of me become the hellish strife, and in my arms I clasped my love, my life. He knelt to me, he pressed me close to him, he touched my breasts, and all my sense was dim. I am thy servant and thy king, said he, worshipping thee through God, and him through thee. Air is less delicate than thou to me, lilies less fragrant than thy chastity. The soft gold glory of thy wedded skin is lovelier than stars that swing and spin in measured manner through the hemispheres, lighting the splendor of thy falling tears. Oh, then methought I kissed his gleaming eyes, lifting my voice in loftiest surprise. Is this our hill, or are we two in heaven, talking together with the angels seven? His eyes looked brimming magic into mine, as eyes of saints above a holy shrine. Agents of heaven, O Lord, at thine own will, we swooned together kissing on the hill, feeding our souls and bodies eagerly, deep in deliciousness of unity. Lying enraptured with each other there, ravished with ecstasy I seemed to share all wonders of thy mount of Horeb high, and hear thyself along the hilltops cry, my judgment throne shall be the noon of day, and life shall blossom from the fallowed clay. 'Twas but a vision. Oh, the life of man is bliss too perfect for our minds to span, yet deep in me the rapture lies in wait to pour out Eden at an earthly gate. End of section 86. Section 87 from Songs of Love and Life by Zora Cross. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Read by Elise D. Outside the Gate. He has gone home to her. I must not weep, he says. But oh, it rains and rains upon the road and street, and all the grass is cold. He has gone home to her, and she will climb about his knee deliciously, and kiss his soft melodious mouth, and talk to him of all the things he did this long white day. He'll hear her children from their bedroom breathe, and, looking up from the bright fire, she'll say, "This little one made 2 short steps today, and that took down a book and tried to read." This is their house. The lights glow red within. I must not go too near, lest I should smell the fire, the carpets, and the scented rug, which fondly warms her little slippered foot. If I might rest my cheek upon the gate, his gate, or touch the latch and creep away, I dare not, for the click would make her rise, and, moving to the casement, she would drop a dear warm tear upon the pane and say, "How cold that poor lost woman is outside." End of section 87. Section 88 from Songs of Love and Life by Zora Cross. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Read by Elise D. Sonnets of the South 1. Ah, how I love to kiss the hair that lies across the smooth contentment of your brow, to meet our mouths and make the happy vow that mirrors all its promise in our eyes. I love you. How that sweet submission cries out of my heart and lifts me even now into chaste ecstasy. Ah, love, I bow unto my master, and the tempest dies. What am I but a little willing slave, drinking my life from out your strong brown hand, as blossoms sip the sun that gives them light, from the round palm of God with faces grave? Love, loose my fragrant tresses strand by strand. I'd be a flower and scent you all the night. End of section 88. Section 89 from Songs of Love and Life by Zora Cross. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Read by Elise D. Sonnets of the South 2. The melting music of your voice floods me, as summer passion floods the startled rose that through my lattice window slightly blows some perfume of the pools of Arcady. Love, drown me in its wondrous harmony. Breathe on my brows, my fainting eyelids close, till o'er the chalice of my longing flows naught but the nectar of its melody. Beloved, sound the chords and depths of me, press on my soul the seal of your desire. Oh, bind our lives with such immortal love, God hears it singing through eternity, and, stooping from his cloud-clad cherub choir, sets to its pulse the swinging stars above. End of section 89. Section 90 from Songs of Love and Life by Zora Cross. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Read by Elise D. Sonnets of the South 3. I had not dreamed that life could be so fair until you kissed its meaning into me and sent my soul along its airy lea to find a sudden beauty everywhere. Make me a couch of grass, love, green and rare, a pansy pillow frilled with rosemary, and be your face the only light I see through the dark curtain of my falling hair. So shall the wandering winds that come our way pause as they pass and tiptoe overhead, fearing to stir the stream of dewy sleep that loops our lives and holds our souls in sway. And if death comes with sad and pensive tread, we shall not hear the tears his angels weep. End of section 90.